We now have the pleasure of presenting the 2025 Wharton-Jacobs Levy Prize for Quantitative Financial Innovation. In 2011, the prize was endowed by a generous gift to Wharton from Bruce and Ken. This award is given every 2 years to recognize outstanding quantitative research that has contributed to a particular innovation in the practice of finance. It is accompanied by an $80,000 cash award and a sterling silver medal, which is an emblem of the prize in its recognition of groundbreaking research. It is great to have the 2025 winner in attendance, Sandy Grossman, and he will accept the prize based on his research on the interaction between market efficiency, information asymmetry, limits to arbitrage, and active management, and on the impact of trading and liquidity on price formation.
All right, we next turn our attention to the prize-winning work of Sanford Sandy J. Grossman, the 2025 recipient of the Wharton-Jacobs Levy Prize for Quantitative Financial Innovation. Sandy's 1976 Journal of Finance paper on the efficiency of competitive stock markets where trades have diverse information has greatly influenced how we understand, characterize, and model the nature and value of private information in markets, the mechanics and value of trading and trading systems, the role of noise, the distinction between and among passive and active approaches to investing, among a number of areas of influence. The framework, as many of us have learned in graduate school, is still a backbone of modern models of information and trading, reminding researchers, in a sense, to treat predictability as compensation for costly information. That noise is an equilibrium necessity. That prices can reveal a great deal about fundamentals, but not everything, creating space for informed trading and active management. That alpha must cover costs. All of it setting the stage for modern views of liquidity provision and market resilience. The selection committee for this year's prize included both scholars and practitioners. I'd like to thank Bruce Jacobs for excellent leadership as the prize committee chair, and to recognize committee members Bob Karachik, Owen Lamont, Deb Lucas, and Ingrid Tierens for their service. I had the honor of serving as ex officio on the committee, and it's a privilege to recognize Sandy's contributions to the field of quantitative finance. So before we hear from Sandy, I'd like to introduce again Bruce Jacobs and Ken Levy, and again thank them for their innovative thinking in establishing the Wharton-Jacobs Levy Prize through the Center. It's one of the many things the Center supports that serves to recognize outstanding, impactful contributions in quantitative finance. Again, after Bruce and Ken's comments, Sandy will offer his thoughts, and then we'll open the mic for your comments and questions. Please join me in welcoming Bruce Jacobs and Ken Levy.
Thank you, Chris and Craig, for those kind remarks. The efficient market hypothesis holds that all available information is immediately incorporated into prices of a stock. But how does this happen? And what are the limits, if any, to the forces that govern this process? Thanks to the extraordinary work of Sandy Grossman, we have answers to these perplexing questions, as well as important insights into the role of information in security markets and implications for active management. In his 1976 Journal of Finance article on the efficiency of competitive stock markets where traders have diverse information, Sandy explains the sometimes paradoxical interplay between informed and uninformed traders that results in the stock prices that we observe. The paper laid the groundwork for what is arguably his most famous work on the impossibility of informationally efficient markets, co-authored with Joseph Stiglitz and published in the American Economic Review in 1980. At the risk of oversimplifying, I'll summarize it as follows. It begins with a view that stock prices have two roles: as an aggregator of collective knowledge, such that the current price of a stock summarizes all information in the market, and as a transmitter of that information. Uninformed traders, who invest nothing in collecting information, presume that current prices reflect the knowledge of informed traders. Which brings us to the paradox I mentioned earlier. If the price system is perfectly efficient, it removes the incentive to gather information, because uninformed traders could do just as well as informed traders simply by observing current prices. And informed traders would have no incentive to expend resources collecting information if they can't earn a return on it. As a result, the price system would collapse. But when noise is added to the system, so that prices no longer perfectly aggregate or transmit information, traders are somewhat in the dark as to why prices are changing. Those who have the resources are now incentivized to collect proprietary information. The result is a competitive price system, noisy and imperfectly efficient. Sandy, on behalf of all of us here who consider ourselves to be informed traders, we thank you for your insightful work in modeling the market price system and for demonstrating our essential role in the process. And we thank God for the uninformed traders.
The Wharton-Jacobs Levy Prize for Quantitative Financial Innovation recognizes outstanding quantitative research that has contributed to an important innovation in the practice of finance. The 2025 Wharton-Jacobs Levy Prize recipient, Sanford Sandy J. Grossman, is honored for his illuminating work in modeling the dynamics of the market pricing system. As passive indices have claimed an ever-growing share of stock investment in recent years, many have questioned whether active management could or should continue. In a series of papers dating back almost 50 years, Sandy explained not only why investment management firms invest in acquiring proprietary information, but also why it's necessary for the functioning of competitive markets. What is perhaps most impressive about his paper on the efficiency of competitive stock markets where traders have diverse information is that it came so early for Sandy at age 23. His distinguished career includes teaching at Stanford, University of Chicago, Princeton, and Wharton, where he is Professor Emeritus of Finance. He has served as an economist for the Federal Reserve, a director of the Chicago Board of Trade, a president of the American Finance Association, and a founder and chairman of QFS Asset Management, an investment and risk management firm. Sandy has been praised as a leading theorist in the Rational Expectations School of Economics, and for his use of rigorous modeling techniques. Esquire magazine describes Sandy as a brashly opinionated theorist and an aggressive free marketeer. To those descriptions, we'd like to add brilliant intellect, and most importantly, in my humble opinion, a Wharton-Jacobs Levy Prize winner. When Ken and I established this biennial award in 2011, it was our hope that over time the recipients would constitute an elite group of scholars and practitioners who've had a transformative impact on financial markets. Sandy now joins the elite group of Markowitz, Sharp, Ross, Ball and Brown, Jagadish and Titman, and Kyle as prize winners. He's truly deserving of being in this distinguished company. We are proud to award the 2025 Wharton-Jacobs Levy Prize for Quantitative Financial Innovation to Sanford Sandy J. Grossman in recognition of his groundbreaking accomplishments. Thank you for your contributions and a hearty congratulations. Sandy, please join us for the presentation of the prize medal. It is an honor to present you with the Jacobs Levy Wharton Prize Medal.
Congratulations.